Yeah. In about 30 seconds, we will start with our usual prayer. Om, Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saviriyam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanasalakaya Chaksuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Deva Maheshwara Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sthavaram Jangamam Vyaptam Yatkinchit Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapithyata Sarvam Trilokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Tameva Mata Cha Pita Tameva Bandhascha Sakha Tameva Vidya Dravinam Tameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namah Hari Om. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayana Swam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advitamrita Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadyayini Mamba Tvamanu Sandadami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Stuvanti Devaihi Stavaihi Vedaihi Sangapada Upanishadahi Gayanti Yam Samagraha Dhyana Avasthita Tat Gatena Manasa Pashyanti Yogina Yasyantam Na Vidu Sura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja Ham Tva Sarvapapebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Sucha. So with this we will have Gyan for the preparation to go into the Gita session. So let's move into Dhyan. I will bring you back. Om, Om, Om. Today is September 11, exactly 1 year after we started our Gita sessions with me on September 12 last year. I was thinking about all these things. We have gone through 17 chapters, 622 stanzas. Every time I ask you the question, but this time I'm going to ask the question to me. What did we accomplish in 1 year? The mundane mind would say, well, we have completed 17 chapters, 622 stanzas. And this is a question to me. I'm asking to myself, not to you. The mind has splitted. One is asking the question and the second is humbly trying to give the answer. What did we accomplish? Oh, well, we studied all these 622 stanzas. No, but what did you learn? The 622 stanzas are in the book already. What did you learn? This was the question I asked myself about 60 years ago when I read the Gita first time. And I answered that those days that, well, I studied wholeheartedly, but to tell you the truth, I don't remember much. And then my mind says, well, if you don't remember much, then go back and read again. So I read again. Same question. So go back and read again. So go back and read again. Took many years, really many years of very honest effort. I read the Gita all these 60 years. To tell you the truth, with more intensity, more care, and more devotion than my beloved mathematics. I'm truly a mathematician. I'm proud of that. I'm not bragging myself here, but I know mathematics. But more than that, I like to study. And now I don't study. Now day and night, these stanzas, they pop in the mind. I don't have to ask the question anymore, what did you study? No, because I don't have to study anything. So now you will ask me then, tell us, what did you study? And I would say, there are only two things. Dissolve your karma completely. Annihilate your accumulated bag of actions. One thing. When that thing will happen, he has the promise that mom upeti, મારી પાસે જ આવશે. Oh, really? So what are then the ways to dissolve this bag of actions? We have seen 3 or 4 examples like Buddha. Even though he was living with the poison, didn't budge, did not create any action at the time of living. Jesus, Socrates, and Dayananda Saraswati. They didn't have the bag. How did they do that? Their answer is in the Gita, very loudly spoken. There are 3 potent words which contain the entire Gita. You don't have to remember 700 stanzas. The 3 words, and you are done. And then you are in his lap. The story ends. Everything ends. What are those 3 words? This chapter 18 is beginning with 2 of them, sannyas and tyag. We are going to define them. We are going to understand them. What are they? But there is a 3rd one. 3rd word is yoga. And that was done in the first lecture I gave September 12 last year, Sankhya Yoga. So there are 3 phases, 3 phrases, sannyas, tyag, and yoga. Let's very thoroughly understand what they are. And in chapter 18, one of the beauty is Sri Krishna is becoming analytical physicist. There are 2 kinds of physicists. One just make the statement without any proof. And the other one would give a very elaborate mathematical proof. That is called analytical physicist. Very few of them. In chapter 18, he has become an analytical physicist. He is giving the proof. He is not just going to say that these are the 3 things you do and that's it, but he is elaborately going to give us a good solid background about those things. Another question then, didn't we study these 3 words so far in 17 chapters? We did. And I'm gonna give you some illustration that where we did it. So you will have a complete story. So as usual, the chapter begins with Arjun's question here. Sanyasasya mahabaho tattvam ichchami vedikam tyagasya cha rushikesha prittak keshini sudan. If you want to read this stanza, like our Gujarati or other language or English, I would read like this. Listen to me. He Mahabaho, he Rishikesh, he Keshini Sudan, એ સંબોધન કરે છે અહીંયા 8મી વિભક્તિ. જોયું કેટલા બધા શબ્દો વાપર્યા એને. વરાળમાં અધ્યાયમાં આવતા સુધીમાં તો પહેલા તો એક જ શબ્દ કહેતો હતો, માધવ, કેશવ. પણ હવે તો કેવા મોટા મોટા નામ છે આની અંદર. He is very impressed. He now realizes that Sri Krishna deserves big names. He Mahabaho, he Rishikesh, he Keshini Sudan. સંન્યાસ અને ત્યાગ નું સંપૂર્ણ રીતે તત્વ જાણવાની મને ઈચ્છા છે. This is how the Gujarati people would say. In English, we would say, He Mahabaho, He Rishikesh, He Keshini Sudan. In all measure, please tell me, because I want to know the elements of those 2 words, sannyas and tyag. So this is how it says. But because of the beauty of Sanskrit, શ્રી સંન્યાસસ્ય છઠ્ઠી વિભક્તિ અને ત્યાગસ્ય બંને સાથે હોવા જોઈએ તેની જગ્યાએ જુદી જુદી લાઈનની અંદર મૂકેલા છે. માર્વેલસ છે. Okay, so he is asking the question. સંન્યાસ અને ત્યાગનું તત્વ. હે મહાબાહુ, હે ઋષિકેશ, હે કેશિની સુદન. મારે સંપૂર્ણ રીતે જાણવું છે. I want to know severely. Please tell me that. So what happened to the 3rd word? Yoga is not mentioned here. And the reason is yoga has been spoken to Arjun many, many, many times. I will give you some examples of that after this stanza. So the beginning chapter is about sannyas, tyag, and yoga. Let's see how Sri Krishna answers this thing. That would be the real beauty of the thing. How he is answering. Sannyas kone kehvay? What is sannyas? What is tyag? He is answering here, and we are going to learn from that. And yoga, I'm going to explain because that was explained on September 12 last year. Kamyanam karmanam. Those actions are full of desire. That is the meaning of kamyanam. Kamya means full of desire. Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kavayo. Kavayaha, it is Sandhi. Viduhu. A kavi shabda je છે, kavi, and this is Bahuvachan, plural. So it is Kavayaha. Kavinu Kavayaha. Viduhu. They knew. Now, Kavi is usually used in the Gita for Sadhu Purush. And the notion about Sadhu is who has beard, who has robe, who has gone to some Rishikesh jungle. That is the notion, and that is very fitting with the definition of this sannyas. What is the definition? Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kavayaha viduhu. ઈચ્છાથી ભરપૂર એવા કર્મો કામ્યાનામ કર્મણામ. Now, what are the ઈચ્છાથી ભરપૂર એવા કર્મો? પરણવું, ફેમિલી હોવું, સારી જોબ હોવી, સારા પૈસા કમાવા. These are called કામ્યાનામ કર્મણામ, જેમાં ઈચ્છા ભરેલી છે. Those people who have renounced the actions generated from desire, if they have renounced those actions, the Sadhu Purush says that is called sannyas. હવે બીજી વ્યાખ્યા જે આવશે બીજી લાઈનની અંદર, that is really mind boggling, because that thing is a little bit different and superior in all respect, because in the first line, if you want to avoid the કામ્યાનામ કર્મણામ, ઈચ્છાથી ભરપૂર એવા બધા એક્શનોને જો એવોઇડ કરવું હોય તો તમારે જંગલમાં જતું રહેવું. Why? Because living in the family, house, society, it is almost undoable kind of thing, or it may create a lot of obstacles. So that is why the word kavayaha means sadhu, means bearded with the robe. They have gone out of the society. But now the second line says, sarva karma phala tyagam prahuhu tyagam vichakshanaha. यहाँ तो जुओ शब्द विचक्षणाः. कवयः નથી કહ્યું, હવે સાધુ પુરુષ નથી. વિચક્ષણાः, ચક્ષ means આંખો, અને વિચક્ષણ આંખ ઉપરથી માણસનું ધ્યાન, વિચારો, ઘણું બધું જાણી શકાય છે માણસની આંખ ઉપર. વિચક્ષણ, જેની આંખમાં પુષ્કળ ઊંડાણ છે, તો પછી એવું બધું લાંબુ લાંબુ બોલવું પડે? No, you just use one phrase, wise person, who has wisdom, who has a lot of accumulated wisdom. Prahuhu means they say. What do they say? Sarva karma phala tyagam. અરે ભાઈ જંગલમાં ને બધે જવા કરતા ઘરે બેસીને જે કઈ કામ કરતા હોય એ કરો અને ફળનો ત્યાગ કરી દો ને. Just stay in the society, and there is a difference here between the jungle and the society. Staying in the society is like a marvelous acrobat job. You have to manage family, you have to manage friends, you have to manage your employer. But then the beauty of this stanza is, hey, as in the first line, don't renounce anything. Do everything that you are doing, but do not make friendship with the fruit of action. That's it. And that is called tyaga. See the definition now? So sannyas means એવી એક્ટિવિટી કે જેનું જન્મસ્થળ ડિઝાયર છે. એટલે ડિઝાયરને એવી એક્ટિવિટીને એવોઇડ કરવા એ જંગલમાં જ જતા રહે. પણ there will be a stanza coming that it is difficult to be completely actionless. Action is like breathing. You cannot avoid it. And so the best way is, and it will come back again and again, sarva karma phala tyagam. What a marvelous things. So he has given the definition of these two phrases. And what about the yoga? The yoga we have elaborated on September 12 last year in the Sankhya philosophy. Let me just go through quickly in a short session. Our constitution, we have body, which is gross, which you can see, which others can see also. Mind, which may be seen 10%, but the other 90% is like, you may feel for your mind, but the others may also feel about your mind. What kind of guy is that? But it is becoming subtler than body. Then Chetana, more subtle than your mind. કઈ ચોરી કરવાનું મન થાય તો ચેતના બોલી ઉઠશે. Chetana will yell, hey, don't do that. But if the mind has become durmati, durmati is a Sanskrit word, means whose mati, whose thinking, whose mind has completely derailed, is called durmati. That mind will not listen to Chetana. And because Chetana is subtler, it is very gentle in action, very noble, very polite. Well behaved. It will say 3 times and then give up, and then stand by and watch. More subtler is yourself, your jiva, your soul. Now you don't see him. But he is there. that soul guy accumulates the fruits, accumulates the result of all the actions that you are doing. Unless, if you are doing those actions, for example, now Arjuna is going to kill everybody, and he's not going to accrue any result of the action. So unless you have achieved that level by following the principles of the Gita, you are not accruing any result. So this is how the two phrases are explained. But just to give an example, I said that before in the 17 chapters, we have seen these two phrases, even three phrases, including yoga. I'm going back to stanza, chapter 5, 13 stanza. You don't have to flip the pages of your Gita, but I will just remind those certain things that where we encounter the word sannyas. So sannyas is not a new thing, but there was no definite definition was given. It was used, but no clear definition. The clear definition is given in stanza 2 of the 18th chapter. So just to give a couple of examples where sannyas occurred previously, I want to say stanza number 13, chapter 5. What does he say? Sarva karmani manasa sannyasya aste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi na eva kurvan karaya. Did you see there is the word sannyas? And then the last line gave you the guarantee that by following sannyas, you are not accruing any result of the actions. Na kurvan na karayan. કરતો નથી અને કરાવતોય નથી. કોણ? સન્યાસી. પણ ત્યાં ડેફિનેશન આપવામાં નથી આવેલી. The phrase is used. Another stanza, number 28, chapter 9. Shubha Shubha Falaihi Evam Mokshasya Karma Bandhanaihi. આગળના સ્ટાન્ઝામાં તને કર્મોથી મુક્તિ મળે તે છેલ્લે આવ્યું અને પહેલા તારે સન્યાસી થવું પડે એ આવી ગયું. અહીંયા આગળ એ પહેલા કહે છે કે તું કર્મ બંધનથી મુક્ત થશે. મોક્ષશે કર્મ બંધનૈહિ. કેવી રીતે? સંન્યાસ યોગ યુક્ત આત્મા વિમુક્ત મામ ઉપેષ્યસી. Here also there is the phrase sannyasi. તું સન્યાસી થાય તો તને કોઈ કર્મનું રિઝલ્ટ ચોંટવાનું નથી. હવે ત્યાગના એક્ઝામ્પલ બે એક આપું. त्यक्त्वा कर्म फल संग नित्य तृप्त निराश कर्मणि अभिप्रिय हति अपि न किंचित करोति सह. So this is the example of tyag, because he says tyaktva karma phala sangam. So he is giving the example of tyag, and whoever is doing tyag, karmani अभिप्रिय ते अपि नै किंचित करोति. કર્મ કરતો હોવા છતાં પણ એ કંઈ કરતો નથી. So what we are exploring here is, hey, what do you do? So you are not bound by the actions. So there are two phrases going on, sannyas and karma phala tyag. There is also one more about karma phala tyag in chapter 12, stanza number 11. तथा एतद अपि अशक्तः असि. अरे भाई आ બધું કરવા માટે પણ ધારો કે તું અશક્તિમાન છે. If you are not able to do all these things, જોયું હવે આ પ્રોમિસ આપે છે કે even if you are not able to do all these things, कर्तुं मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्म फल त्यागम ततः कुरु यतात्मवान. Then, hey my friend, just don't make friendship with the fruit of the actions. That's it. There is also one more stanza I would like to mention in chapter 6, stanza number 1. Anasritah karma phalam karyam karoti saha. That is the stanza. Yah yogi, yah sannyasischa yogischa, na cha niragnir, na chakriyah. So that is another stanza. So there are a lot of places in the entire 17 chapters we have hit these two phrases. But in this chapter there are more with a clear definition given. He is moving on now. About the yoga, I just want to mention what I said on that September 12. Since we are body, mind, Chetana, Atma, and then the Supreme Soul, but we do not have the practice to see the structure all the time. What we see is just the body. And in the mirror, we comb the hair, but we just see the hair, but not anything else. There are two friends standing there, the soul and the Supreme Soul, closer than our neighbors. When the mind tumbles, first in the soul and then in the Supreme Soul, the state of yoga is established. કઈ પલાઠી વાળીને આંખ મીચીને પાછળ તકિયા અંડેલીને બેસી જઈએ એટલે યોગ નથી થવાનો. Look what I'm saying. Atmani eva atmana tuष्टः. આત્મા વડે જ એટલે પેલા સુપ્રીમ સોલ ની શક્તિથી જ તારા આત્માને તારા મનને તેની અંદર ગબડાવી દે. Tumble in the Supreme Soul. That is called yoga. Try that. It is worth trying. That yoga is worth trying. We go to see our neighbor. We may have a couple of crackers, we chit chat. And if you are leaving the town, you may give the key, whatever. But these neighbors, the soul and the supreme souls, they are standing by your shoulders all the time. Have we seen them? Have we met them? Have we even tried to meet them? That process is yoga. આ ત્રણમાંથી ગમે તે એક કરો તમે. One out of the three. One out of the three will dissolve all the actions, accumulated actions. One out of three. Do yoga means tumble in the Supreme Soul. Or do enormous activities all day, but at the end of the day, renounce the fruit of the actions. Or become sadhu and renounce the society and everybody. All the actions become actionless. And all the actions are dissolved. Arjuna was not aware about this theory of physics. So that is why he was shaken by the thought of killing Bhishma and Drona. And by the end of these 17 chapters, that is clear by these three potent words, sannyas, tyag, and yoga. Which physics book has this theory, this law of life? None. That is one of the reasons the Gita has maintained its supremacy all these thousands of years. And even if 1 in a 10,000 people, or 1 in a million, or 1 in a 10 million, if they follow, sooner or later, they will become Maharishi Arvind, or Ramakrishna Paramhans, or Vivekananda, or you name it. The process is to dissolve the accumulated karma. That is the whole point, that how to do. And this scripture has brought us these three very potent phrases. And that is what the entire Gita is. Then he says, there is moksha, liberation. And that is why the name Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. That is the theme of this scripture. You want to be liberated. How? By following one of the three, sannyas, yoga, or tyag. And you come to me without any taint, no dago. You come to me. That is the process. The birth after birth misery, old age, dying, They are all created by deliberate actions that we do every day without understanding, in ignorance. But that would not leave us alone. They would be carried on birth after birth. And the complexity of the sansar is explained in the Aswatha Vruks. એના રૂટ્સ એટલા બધા ટેંગલ થઈ ગયેલા છે. Where they are spread in the soil, that even not known. The leaves, the branches. Everybody can test their state of affairs, living in the family, living in the sansar, living with the friends, living with the work people, whoever. There is always some tangle. So let's see what he has to say about this tyag and yoga and sannyas. So the third stanza is very surprising. Tyajyam dosavad iti eke karma prahu manishinaha. Manishinaha shabda aivo pacho. Manishinaha means philosophers, the people who are not sadhu, are not yogi, but they are philosophers. They say, well, any action is dosavad. એમાં કંઈ નહીં તો કંઈક તો છે જ. Any action is dosavad means tyajyam dosavad iti eke karma prahu manishina. Some philosopher will go to the extent that, well, any action is bad. Then others, the second line says, cha apare means, and some others, vadi bija. Yagna dana tapah karma tyajyam iti. And some say, well, બધું નહીં ત્યાગી દેવાનું. પેલા મનીષીણ એમ કે બધું જ ત્યાગી દેવાનું. પણ હવે થોડાક એવા છે કે જે કે યજ્ઞ દાન અને તપ એ નહીં ત્યાગવાનું. He is so walking us through that time philosophy, whatever was there. He is saying that. So then he says, Nishchayam means up to the end. Nishchayam srunu me tatra tyage bharata sattamam. Tyaga hi purusha vyagra trividaha sam prakirtitaha. હવે બરાબર રીતે સાંભળ મને. That even tyag is also 3 different kinds. So he is going in a little bit detail now about tyag, sannyas. What are the difficulties? What are they? So after giving the definition of the 2 phrases, he is not talking about yoga now, because that has been talked many times. Yagna dan tapah karma natyajyam karyameva tat. Yagna danam tapah eva pamanani manishinam. So here he is saying that yagna dan and tap, that should not be renounced. You should do that. because those three are pavan, means they are, when we say pavan means creating punya kind of thing. It brings good results. That is what the Manishinam means, the wise people say. So what the others think, the wise is also giving importance to those people. And then he is adding the qualifier. ભલે યજ્ઞદાન તપ વગેરે કરવું હોય, પણ એતાની અપિ તુ કર્માણિ સંગમ ત્યક્ત્વા ફલાની ચ. But even if those things you want to do, you still have to renounce the fruit of the action. Kartavyani iti me partha nishchitam matam uttamam. Means, even if you want to do that, you have to renounce the fruit of the action. That is my ultimate opinion. So he is giving the opinion here. Now, one of the things you have to know, since everything is sort of a repetition here with a touch of certain gloss, touch of some paint, he is going, so please don't be overwhelmed by some repetition going on here, because chapter 18 is basically a cumulative of all the 17 chapters. And that is a good way of doing that. Hey, don't forget any of this. I'm saying again that niyatasya tu sannyasah karmanah na upapadyate mohat tasya parityagah tamasah parikirtitah. Now, the obligatory things, દાખલા તરીકે મંદિરમાં પૂજા કરવી, મંદિરે જવું વગેરે, there is obligatory things. You don't have to renounce those things. So, but if you renounce those things, that is out of ignorance, and that is called tamasic action. So he is also kind of giving the warnings here. I would stop at this point, and I may just read stanza 8. Dukham iti eva yat karmam kaya klesham yat tyajyat saha krutva rajasam tyagam na eva ka tyaga phalam labhet. So what he is saying here, that if you make some excuse, oh, I'm sick, I'm not going to work, whatever, those kind of, if the excuse is right, or excuse sometimes is not right, and those kind of things are happening out of the Rajas thinking. So you have to be aware about that. Whatever tyag we do should be from pure mind. So we will stop at this stanza 8, and if there is any confusion, any question, whatever that you have, we will quickly go over, and then stop the session.
નમસ્તે અમૃતભાઈ.
નમસ્તે.
કમનસીબ અને ગેરસમજથી ઓગસ્ટ 21 નું લેક્ચર મારથી અટેન્ડ નહોતું થયું.
તે મૂકેલું છે, that is
જોયું મેં, એની જ વાત કરું છું.
right.
પણ વડીલ શ્રી સનતભાઈનો પ્રશ્ન અને તમારો જવાબ એણે મને ઘણી અસર કરી. પણ એમાં એક સવાલ આવ્યો કે તમને જ્યારે લાઈવ સાંભળીએ છીએ ત્યારે જે સમજ પડી જાય છે એના કરતા જ્યારે રેકોર્ડિંગ જોઈએ છે ત્યારે કંઈક ખૂટે છે, કંઈક નડે છે. તે ખાલી મારી માનસિક નબળાઈ છે કે આવું કંઈક શક્ય છે?
No, માનસિક નબળાઈ નથી. Let me give you an example. I would not give my example, I would give other example. Mercy Arvind used to write, like he wrote Synthesis of Yoga, Savitri, Upanishad, and a lot of other things. But he had the habit of writing from yoga, means his still mind. Mind is not vibrating, still mind. So completely from yoga. Those who have read Synthesis of Yoga, just give one example, one book. Many sentences are 2 or 3 pages long. And when you will read, he will put you in a yogic, and he will also swirl you with him, not completing a sentence until about 2-3 pages. Why this is happening? Because there is the magnetic effect. The yoga, the vibrations of the yoga that have descended in the sentences and pages, and you have the effect of that. Another example, while what is happening, Swami Vivekananda spoke many places, and there are 8 volumes, a complete work of Swami Vivekananda that was spoken by Swami Vivekananda, but written by Sister Nivedita. Swami Vivekananda would be in Samadhi in the morning, but when he speak, that may be 8-10 hours interval. Then another interval, Sister Nivedita would write. So even though the material is there, but the magnetic effect, there is some diminution. Now, if you take 2 magnets, one is powerful and one is weak. But if you have other very powerful magnet, that would have no difference in detecting both magnets. But for most people, that is not accomplished, and that is why you see the difference. So when the lecture is live, there is you are not only listening the voice of the speaker, you are also touching his mind. Now in YouTube, the speech is there, but the waves are not there. So that thing happened. When you go from Swamiji, listen personally, and then when you listen on a radio or YouTube, totally different, always. And that is where the spirituality enters. Hope that clears up.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, Vijay?
સાહેબ ત્રીજા શ્લોકમાં યજ્ઞ દાન તપ ને બધું ત્યજવાનું કહેલું છે. તો વૈદિક સાહિત્યમાં ઘણા કર્મોને માટે મતભેદ છે, ઘણો બધો મતભેદ છે. એક એક્ઝામ્પલ કે ભાઈ પશુવધ એમાં જે કરવામાં આવે છે ત્યાં અમુક લોકો માને કે નહીં કરવો જોઈએ, અમુક લોકો માને કે કરવો જોઈએ. રામાયણમાં જ્યારે અશ્વમેઘ યજ્ઞ થાય છે અને ઘોડો પાછો આવે છે, એ જે હોર્સ પાછો આવે તે ટાઈમે અમુક લોકો જે બ્રાહ્મણ લોકો જે માનતા એને માટે મારવાના માટે તૈયાર થાય છે. અને રામજી એ સમયે એ વસ્તુને અટકાવે છે કે પશુઓ કરવાની જરૂરિયાત નથી. તો આપણે કોને માનવાનું? રામાયણ વાળી વાર્તાને માનવાનું કે વૈદિક વાળી વાર્તાને માનવાનું? કારણ કે વૈદિક વાર્તામાં એ ઘણી બધી સાહિત્યમાં એ ઘણો બધો મતભેદ છે.
અત્યાર સુધીમાં 2-3 શબ્દ આવી ગયા, મનીષિણ, ત્યાર પછી સાધુ માટે આવ્યો, ત્યાર પછી ત્યાગ કરનાર માટે આવ્યો. જે વૈદિક સાહિત્યમાં જે પ્રથાઓ જે છે ઉત્પન્ન થયેલી, એ શ્રી કૃષ્ણ કે રામે ઉત્પન્ન કરેલી નથી. નોટ ઓનલી ધેટ, પણ એ લોકોએ પ્રોત્સાહન કોઈ જગ્યાએ આપેલું પણ નથી. એટલે તો શ્રી કૃષ્ણ જયારે પોતાનો શ્લોક કહે છે ત્યારે ચોખ્ખું કહે છે કે મમ મતમ, મારો મત છે, ચોખવટ જ કરી દે છે. અને જયારે બીજા પેલા એ જે બોલે છે કે ના ના એ યજ્ઞદાન તપ પણ મૂકી દેવું, તો તેને માટે એને મનીષિણ મીન્સ કે કોઈ એવા ફિલોસોફરનો મિનિંગ એ કે જે સાચું ને ખોટું ની પંચાયતીમાં પડતા હોય છે. શ્રી કૃષ્ણ એ સ્ટ્રેટ એક જ વાત કરે છે, બે વાત નથી કરતા. સો the reliability is in the Sri Krishna's mouth, not in the other people's mouth.
હવે તો પછી એક બીજો પ્રશ્ન ઉભો થાય સાહેબ એમાં કે સામાન્ય સંજોગોમાં હવે બધા કૃષ્ણને ભગવાન માને, રામને ભગવાન માને. જો એ લોકો વૈદિક સાહિત્યમાં ન માનતા હોય તો આપણે માનવું કે કેમ? એ લોકો ન માનતા હોય તો આપણે માનવું કેમ?
જેમ જેમ જ્ઞાન પ્રાપ્ત થતું જશે તેમ તેમ વિઝડમની પાંદડી ખુલતી જશે. એટલે 25 વર્ષ પહેલા આપણી જે માન્યતા હતી તે આજે નથી. એટલે માન્યતા ઇઝ અ વેરિયેબલ થિંગ. કયા ગ્રેડમાં છો અને કઈ માન્યતા ધરાવો છો એ તે ગ્રેડ ઉપર આધાર રાખે. આજથી 25 વર્ષ ઉપર જે કરતા હતા તે એવું લાગે હવે કે નો આ મારી ભૂલ હતી. અત્યારે જે કરીએ છીએ એ સાચું લાગે છે, 25 વર્ષ પછી એમ થશે કે ના એ ભૂલ હતી. કહેવાનો મિનિંગ એ છે કે એવરીથિંગ ડિપેન્ડ્સ ઓન જ્ઞાન. અને as far as Gita is concerned, not a single thing has been challenged which has been spoken by Sri Krishna. એટલે જ્યાં લગી આપણે અંધારામાં છીએ અને દેખાતું નથી ત્યાં લગી એ શ્રી કૃષ્ણનો દીવો સળગાવેલો છે તેના અજવાળે ચાલવું વધારે સારું પોતાનું ડાપણ કરવા કરતા.
તો વૈદિક ફિલોસોફીને ફોલો કરવાની જરૂરિયાત નથી એવું માનવાને કારણ ખરું?
કારણ કે ઇવોલ્વ થતી ફિલોસોફી હતી, એ ટોટલી ઇવોલ્વ નહીં થઈ ગયેલી હતી. ટોટલી ઇવોલ્વ એ ગીતામાં થયું.
બરાબર. ઓલરાઈટ.
Does it make sense? એ કોઈ વસ્તુ ઇવોલ્યુશનમાં હોય ત્યારે એને ફાઇનલ સ્ટેજનું લેબલ ના આપી શકાય. પણ ગીતા ઇઝ સ્ટેમ્પ મારી દીધેલો છે.
Right.
સ્ટેમ્પ.
Does it,
ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ, ગીતાની શરૂઆત થઈ, પેલા બધા લડવા ઉભા રહેલા છે તે, અને હવે હું લડવાનો કેવી રીતે? પણ તેનું ક્લેરિફિકેશન આવતું ગયું કે ભાઈ કર્મફળનો ત્યાગ જ કરેલો અને અહંકારનો ત્યાગ કરેલો, આ બધું વસ્તુ નથી તારામાં, તો તું શું જે કરશે તેનું તારે માથે કઈ આવવાનું નથી. પતી ગયું. અને તે જ રીતે આખો વોર તે જ રીતે પૂરો થયેલો. યુ નો.
so sir, does it mean કે વૈદિક સાહિત્ય હજુ it is not completely still evolved or continuous ચાલ્યા જ કરે એમાં ઉમેરો?
It is.
It will never evolve completely. Does it mean?
It is not totally deficient. Most part is valid thing, but some of the thing જે ઘણા બધા વર્ષોથી ચાલી આવેલી તે રૂઢીને કાઢતા ઘણો સમય જતો હોય છે. You know, it takes a lot of time. So રામાયણ દરમિયાન અથવા તો મહાભારત દરમિયાન because of Ram and because of Sri Krishna જે wisdom પ્રાપ્ત થયું, that has cleared a lot of things, you know.
Okay.
What you can do is whatever that you see in the Vedas, if you do not see in the Gita, or if that is not substantiated in the Gita, then we cannot substantiate either. You know, that is my point, at least.
બુદ્ધ ભગવાને હો એટલે he also did not like the Vedic, you know, એમાં પશુ વધ વાળું જે છે એને પસંદ નથી પડ્યું અહિંસાને લીધે.
Right.
There are so many, I mean, lackings in Vedic literature.
Yeah, પણ વૈદિક લિટરેચર આજે નથી કહેતું કે પ્રાણીઓનો વધ કરો. એ તો 10,000 વર્ષ પહેલાની વાત છે. Today they are not saying that. Today there may be old books there on the shelf, but not that Vedic is saying so, is propagating that thing. That is not happening today, you know. For example, whoever is following Vedic things, I don't know that anybody of those people would believe in killing animals. I don't think so. You know, you see the point?
Yeah.
You are referring to old pages.
Okay, no more questions.
That's very good.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
I just want to make a comment.
Yes.
I was very touched by your sharing your personal journey with Bhagavad Gita for 16 years.
No, 60 years.
60 years.
60.
Yeah, I got it. 60.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was very touched by that and very inspired by it too, the way you've gone through this.
Mhm.
And it is, sometimes it's like, you know, oh, I've read the Bhagavad Gita, I'm okay, you know, but, and that is one of the reasons I find that you're able to jump from verse to verse, chapter to chapter, because you have such a wonderful grasp of the whole scripture and understanding of the thoughts in that. And so I really appreciated that. And I want to thank you for sharing that knowledge with us.
Well, it is all because of the people who have humbly given their presence here. That is not, I mean, an easy thing, you know, Saturday after Saturday. You have been so punctual Unbelievable. I am so much touched by your devotion, and I have no words to how to say thank you. It is only my enthusiasm which occurs in my head that many times when I hear the Gita, sometimes I feel like there is not much clarity going on. And then I feel like, no, it should have been this way. So I usually did those clarification with personal friends and things like that. But this is really going in a very broad sense, and I'm very delighted about that. So thank you all who have supported this program.
Well, we thank you for being so regular and teaching us so beautifully, and you're sharing your personal experiences with Bhagavad Gita. Also, it's very wonderful that you have put that teachings of Bhagavad Gita by saying that you're thankful to us for joining every Saturday. So you're not looking for any results of what you're doing, but that's what we are enjoying it. I'm learning a lot. Thank you.
One of the thing I visualize is some people may think like, well, the renunciation is very difficult. And my argument goes like, when the entire universe, he's the only sole owner, nothing belongs to you. What do you have to renounce? If you have anything of yours, you have to renounce. Everything is his: air, water, food. And every moment he takes care of you. As I say, he's staying closer than your shoulder. So what do you have to renounce? And so where is the effort? There is no effort required. And look at the beauty of Sri Krishna. He has never said that everything belongs to me and therefore you don't have to do any effort. Just give up. He didn't say that. He didn't show that dadagiri, He has been humble all the time. And that is why there is a stanza. Every time you eat food, there is a prayer from the Gita. Brahma Arpana Brahma. Brahmanu Brahmanya Arpan Karo. Brahma Arpana Brahma. Harir Brahma Agnau Brahmana Hutam. Brahme Vatena Gantavyam. Brahma Karma Samadhina. Every time, say you go to Mandir and give $1 million, you want to say him, Brahma Arpana Brahma. આ તો તારું જ હતું તે હું લઈને આવેલો છું અહીં. મને થોડીક શરમ પણ આવે છે કે તારું લઈને જ મારે આવવું પડે. મારું તો કંઈ જ નથી. બસ ત્યાં સ્ટોરીનો અંત આવી જાય.
Can I make one comment on that Brahmarpanam?
Yeah.
We are, and I'm just sharing this with the group. I'm sure many of us have grandchildren and young children. Whenever we get together with them, before we have a meal, we always recite this Brahmarpanam with them. And it is
fantastic.
How quickly they learn this shlokas once you recite them.
Yeah.
And they look forward to it. Sometimes they will sort of look at us if we forget to do it.
Yeah.
So they remind us with their looks. Oh, okay, we forgot. We'll do the Brahmarpana.
Mm-hmm.
Just sharing.
That is an outstanding culture that we have to realize that the Brahman is so much potently pervaded. There is not an inch of room anywhere left, And with that notion also, we would be able to truly make a prayer without begging bowl. And suppose in life is up and down. Suppose there is downward something. And we usually, hey, Ishwar, and that things happen automatically. But one of the things we forget that he knows that you are in certain thing even before you are in there. So what's the point of telling him, So this is all in the wisdom. The wisdom, if there is any precious thing in the world to attain, is nothing but wisdom. Wisdom and wisdom. And clarity. Clarity is another word I like. Particularly in speech, clarity is so important. And so in the speeches also he is exhibited. He's everywhere. It's not a joke. It's not just a theory in the book. It's everywhere. And I am so delighted, we have now only 18th chapter to go. I feel little torture in myself that, well, oh man, all these good days are soon gonna be over, kind of feeling I have. Because it is so much exhilarating experience. We really enjoy. But I have to make one announcement. I have indirectly talked about that, after this Gita session, we are planning to move into Upanishad area. And one of the things after going through the Gita, we may have a feeling, oh, where is he? I need to see him. And that is in the Mandukya Upanishad. We will begin with his characteristic. And I want to give one example. The name of the Upanishad is Mandukya. Manduk means frog. And frog usually jump. They don't walk usually. Let me give one example. The Upanishad is going to talk about 4 jumps, but I will only give you one example. When we go to bed to sleep, does anybody know what exact hour and minute he fell into sleep? I would bet anything. We are awake and waiting for sleeping. But when we go into sleeping, we are not in the waking state anymore. But we don't know when we did. So the meaning is from Jagrat Avastha, we jump into sleeping Avastha. We didn't walk there. So by giving this kind of example, who he is, hey, when you were Jagrat, but when you are sleeping, in both stages, that who is taking care of you is Sri Krishna. So any ઓળખાણ, આવા એક્ઝામ્પલ અને એ ઓળખાણમાંથી નૈકટ્ય મગજની અંદર પેદા થશે કે ઓ એ તો મારી સાથે છે, એવું જાગતો હતો ત્યારે હતો, હવે ઊંઘમાં વળી ત્યાંથી વળી સપનું જોવા પણ બેસે, વળી બહુ ડેવલપ સોલ થઈ જાઉં તો વળી સમાધિ પણ કરું, you know. So he will hope. And by really understanding the hoping, you will really understand him, who he is. And then another beauty is, એ કઈ માઇલો દૂર નથી, અહીંયા ખભાથી પણ નજીક છે, ખભાનું અંતર તો ઘણું વધારે. Oh my God, he's there? Yeah, he's there. It's a marvelous, marvelous, marvelous experience. He's there, you know. So we will be doing, we are not going to dissociate ourselves from him. On the contrary, our search is inspired from the Gita, that ઓહો આટલું બધું બોલી ગયો અને એ કેવો છે એ જ ખબર નથી. So એ જાણવાનો હવે પ્રયત્ન શરૂ થશે એ કેવો છે, you know. So that would be a very thrilling experience, I would say. So just be prepared for it. We will and I think that will be, this is something like we did the undergraduate, now we are going for master PhD here, and there will be very specialized things coming about him. In the Gita, he was very broad kind of thing. It is like undergraduate, you study all differential, integral, all kind of things. And then you move on, you will study only the ras part, not the jarwa pandra, you know, the ras. So you will see the difference, you know. And another beauty will be You will be there and I will be there. So that is another beauty, that I'm not going to be gone, you know. I will be still there and you will still be there. So the fun would be together, you know. Yeah. Very good. Then I really thank you again. And unless anybody has any specific thing, I would lower the volume, because when it's shut off, it speaks loudly, you know. So we will move on next time. Today, we just kind of gave a general idea about the three things and how you cut off the effect of the karma. And, you know, that is an unbelievable thing to know. And now we will be just scratching the surface and move on, kind of thing. But it's a very gentle chapter, and it's also some repetition, but maybe a little bit in detail, kind of thing. So be patient, and maybe in about 4 or 5 weeks, it will be over. But you have to be very, very proud of that we all together have survived completely 1 year today, you know. It is September 11 from September 12, exactly 365 days. So I think we should feel proud of that, you know. We should. Okay, I'm going to lower the volume so it would not cry out that I'm shutting now, etc. And I'm now shutting this thing.